Lukas Märtens finally got it done. At the Swim Open in Stockholm, he blasted a 3:39.96 to set a new world record in the men's 400 freestyle. That swim takes down one of the more infamous world records in the sport's history, Paul Biedermann's 340.07. Biedermann's former world record was set at the 2009 World Championships, the ones dominated by the now banned supersuits, the ones that saw a whopping 43 world records set in large part due to these suits. Two of these records were Biedermann's in the 200 and 400 freestyles, and that 400 record stood out in particular because it broke the legendary Ian Thorpe's world record set back in 2001 by 1/100th of a second. While most of those supersuited world records have been broken in the years after those championships and the subsequent supersuit ban, both the Biedermanns have survived until now. One of the ways the advantages of the supersuits materialized in the races themselves was during the back half in particular, as the more buoyant suits made it easier to maintain speed through the end of a race. Because of this, Biedermann's world record splits have always been absurd. He was out in a 151.02 and back in a ridiculous 149.05, a disgustingly fast negative split. It's actually super common to see swimmers ahead of world record pace at the halfway point of this race. In the final of the Paris Olympics, 6 out of the 8 swimmers were under world record pace at the 200 mark. Knowing that, it's pretty obvious that since it's much harder to match that closing speed in a textile suit, the only way you can really counteract it is to go out really fast. Closing speed wins races, but opening speed sets records, and Lukas Märtens was about to give a workshop on that fact. Märtens got to work right away, splitting a 51.90 at the 100 meter mark and then continuing that opening speed all the way to a 147.55 200 split. That puts him well under world record pace, but that's not really the challenge. It's holding that lead through the back 200. Immediately, Biedermann's world record split started catching Märtens. At the final turn, he still had the lead, but it was getting much tighter. On the final 50, Märtens held on and swam his way to a blistering 3:39.96, the first swimmer in history to swim under the 340 barrier. Some swimmers have been agonizingly close before, Biedermann, Thorpe, Sun-Yang, but Lukas Märtens was the one to make history. Looking at the splits between Märtens' swim here and Biedermann's old record, things play out about how you would expect. Märtens is faster than Biedermann on the first two 100s by quite a bit. Then things flip in a huge way on the second two 100s. I mean, Biedermann outsplits on the final 100 by 3 seconds. But Märtens did enough work early on in the race to get the job done at the end. And this insane time doesn't exactly come out of nowhere for Märtens. Of course, he is the defending Olympic champion in this event. In Paris, he came out on top of a pretty tight race and he led from wall to wall, eventually touching first in a 341.78. However, before this, the fastest swim we've seen out of Märtens was actually a bit earlier at the German Olympic trials. Here, he ripped a 340.33 to fire his first warning shot at that world record. I always found it funny that since Biedermann was also German, even though Märtens put up such a ridiculously fast swim, it didn't even count as a national record. But I guess he fixed that problem here. Looking at the splits between this new world record and his old personal best, we can see the improvements that Märtens made. It seems that with the knowledge that opening speed is what was required to overcome that Biedermann swim, Märtens decided to dial it up even more. He was already out very fast last year, flipping at the 200 in a 148.59, but now he was a bit faster on both 100s and out a second faster at the half. After that increased opening speed, it's understandable that Märtens was a little slower coming home, but it was by less than the time he saved going out, allowing him to drop the time he needed in order to get that world record. As already one of the fastest swimmers in history even before this swim, and as the reigning Olympic champion, Lukas Märtens was already a massive threat to watch out for at this summer's World Championships, and now he's even more so. Märtens should also be racing in the 200 free at this meet, and I would keep an eye on him to see what he can do. He's clearly already working on his overall speed, and last year at the German Olympic trials, he ripped a 144.14 in the 200 free, a time that currently ranks him as the 7th fastest swimmer ever. If he can drop in this event too, then we just just might see another swimmer break 144, which would be awesome. What did you think about this new world record out of Lukas Märtens? And how long do you think it's going to be before Biedermann's other world record of 142.00 in the 200 free finally gets broken? Let me know down below.